After only 4 rounds of voting, on day 2 of the Vatican conclave, a new pope emerged from behind the Vatican curtains as Pope Leo XIV.
I'm so excited that he's the U.S. Pope, the first U.S. Pope.
To see the news, was unexpected. I thought it was going to be a European or maybe someone else, but this is great news. He's young, he's 69, so hopefully he gives us some length and has a great run.
Cardinal Robert Francis Pvost emerged as the dark horse for the Catholic Church's highest office, becoming the first American ever to be elected as Pope, a result that stunned many people around the world. Remarkably, pre-conclave polls gave him just a 1.2% chance of being selected. Yet, despite the odds, Pvost was chosen. Robert Barron, Bishop of the Diocese of Winona, Rochester in Minnesota, who was appointed a little over a week ago by President Trump to the new White House Commission on Religious Liberty, stated, "Cardinal George of Chicago of happy memory was one of my great mentors, and he said, look, until America goes into political decline, there won't be an American Pope." And his point was, if America is kind of running the world politically, culturally, economically, they don't want America running the world religiously. So I think there's some truth to that we're such a superpower and so dominant, they don't want to give us also control over the church.
I never thought in my life I'd see an American Pope.
Other popes in the past were from various countries, and they never ran the world from the country they were from. Pope Francis was from Argentina, and Argentina didn't run the world religiously. And yet here we have some concern being expressed that if a pope were American, they would run the world religiously. It's clear that this was a concerning thought to people in the past. The Catholic Herald confirmed this thought in a September 2022 article. Quote, "For years, the consensus was that an American pope would never fly. Since the U.S. overtook the British Empire as the world's preeminent political and economic power, the consensus has been that an American pontiff would concentrate too much power in one country." On May 8 of 2025, the day the new pope was announced, the Catholic Herald admitted that an American pope had been unimaginable, stating, quote, "Once upon a time, it was said that the idea of an American pope was unthinkable. In the beginning, it was for basically logistical reasons. Later, the veto on an American pope became geopolitical. You couldn't have a superpower pope, or so the thinking ran, because too many people around the world would wonder if papal decisions were really being crafted in the Vatican or at CIA headquarters in Langley. Or could it be the other way around? The idea of an American pope has moved from speculation to reality with the election of Cardinal Pvost. This historic decision prompts important questions. What are the implications of this decision for the Catholic Church, for the United States, and for the rest of the world? Is it true that now we have a superpower pope? Will America now be running the world religiously as well as everything else? Only time will really tell. But at age 69, Pope Leo XIV could serve for the next 20 to 25 years, potentially leaving a long and significant mark on the direction of the Catholic Church and its global influence. Now, what is the significance behind Cardinal Pvost's choice of the name Leo as his pontifical title? Popes often select the name of a predecessor as a gesture of respect and a sign of the legacy they wish to continue. So, what message is Pope Leo conveying with this choice? To understand the potential implications, it's worth examining the legacy of previous popes who bore the name Leo. Some aspects of their histories raise serious concerns. 13 Leos have preceded this new one. Pope Leo I, also known as Saint Leo the Great, was the pontiff between 440 and 461 AD. In 445, he got the Roman Emperor Valentinian III to recognize the primacy of the Bishop of Rome. The decree also arranged for provincial governors to be forcibly extradited if they refused to answer a summons to Rome. In 447 AD, Leo I also declared that heretics deserved the most severe punishments. The Pope justified the death penalty, saying that if the followers of a heresy were allowed to live, that would be the end of human and divine law. Quite the statement. So Pope Leo I believed in the death penalty for those who followed a heresy. What exactly is a heretic? Simply put, it is anyone who chooses to believe the Bible as it reads, and in doing so denies or questions the Catholic Church. Could society ever get this far again? It has been Catholic doctrine as early as 1302, when Pope Boniface VIII asserted that it is absolutely necessary for the salvation of every human creature to be subject to the Roman Pontiff. Another significant Leo was Pope Leo XIII, who reigned on St. Peter's throne, as they call it, from 1878 to 1903. He was known as the Social Pope, putting out 86 encyclicals in his lifetime. Among them, one quoted by A.T. Jones, entitled Immortale Dei from 1885, which stated, "We exhort all Catholics who would devote careful attention to public matters to take an active part in all municipal affairs and elections, and to further the principles of the Church in all public services, meetings, and gatherings." Catholics must make themselves felt as active elements in daily political life in the countries where they live. They must penetrate wherever possible in the administration of civil affairs, must constantly exert the utmost vigilance and energy to prevent the usage of liberty from going beyond the limits fixed by God's law. What do they mean by liberty going beyond limits? Anyone who looks into Catholic encyclicals and Catholic thinking will find that the Roman Church does not believe in freedom of conscience or religious liberty. But let's continue reading. All Catholics should do all in their power to cause the constitutions of states and legislation to be modeled to the principles of the true Church. All Catholic writers and journalists should never lose for an instant from view the above prescriptions. All Catholics should redouble their submission to authority and unite their whole heart and soul and body and mind in defense of the Church and Christian wisdom. So you see from this encyclical by Pope Leo XIII that he wanted Roman Catholics to be heavily involved in all levels of government and to influence in such a way that Catholic principles and Catholic viewpoints shape the nation's policies and laws. The Second Vatican Council's Constitution on the Church in 1964 also instructed politicians to use their secular offices to advance the cause of Roman Catholicism. This message to control and influence a country's politics is a message that many Catholics have taken to heart, becoming prominent in U.S. affairs until at least by 1992, during Republican Ronald Reagan's presidency. There was virtually no arena of federal legislative activity that was not directly controlled by a Roman Catholic senator or representative. That's according to the 1992 World Almanac of U.S. Politics. This trend in U.S. history has continued, with Catholics heavily involved in U.S. politics and often having significant impact on election results. As of this video, 6 of the 9 current U.S. Supreme Court justices are Catholic. Since their allegiance must first be to the pontiff and only secondarily to their country, it might lead some people to wonder if they can truly prioritize their nation's interests. In line with this trend of Catholic influence, we should not be surprised to see a strong presence of Catholicism with the current U.S. President Trump himself. A significant number of Catholics hold high-profile positions in his administration. Some sources suggest that it could be amongst the most Catholic cabinet in U.S. history. What might this mean regarding the concerns that were expressed earlier regarding an American Pope being a superpower when so much Catholic influence is already in U.S. government? And besides all these red flags we're seeing, the encyclical Pope Leo XIII is most known for is the encyclical Rerum Novarum. Much has been said and written about this encyclical, and it has been praised by many popes, while aligning itself against capitalism and in favor of feudalism, fascism, and the common good. This document strongly defends the rights of working people to a living wage, underscores the need for and importance of labor unions, and sets the tone for the Church's modern social doctrine. Did the current Pope Leo choose this name because he admires these ideas? Does he identify with these same sentiments? It seems so, since the new Pope Leo read from the encyclical Rerum Novarum when speaking with the cardinals in his first address. Leo XIII was a strong anti-capitalist, lamenting the destruction of the medieval socialism of guilds and feudal lords. The resemblance between the sentiments of the encyclical Rerum Novarum and the writings of Marx is not coincidental and lays the groundwork for 20th century fascism. Under fascism, private property may be privately owned, but must be regulated and controlled by the state for public use and the common good. Leo XIII precisely promoted this idea. While the Roman Church state seems to defend the concept of private property, it does so only in a formal sense, maintaining that need dictates the use of private property and that the common good is paramount. Shockingly, the Roman Church's official philosopher, Thomas Aquinas, explicitly insinuates that theft is not a sin if it is based on one's need. Of course, the Roman Church's right to own property does not fall under the same private property rules as the rest. The new Pope, Leo XIV, has a doctorate in canon law from the Pontifical College of the very same St. Thomas Aquinas, so he would know that the canon law states that the Catholic Church is exempt from Rerum Novarum's anti-private property ideas, stating that the Church has an innate and legitimate right to acquire and possess property independent of the state. Additionally, the encyclical Rerum Novarum emphasizes Sunday rest as a worker's right, which the state should guarantee. This strict public observance of Sunday was also underscored in Leo XIII's encyclical in 1892, Aeterna Dei. This is a theme that appeared repeatedly in Pope Leo XIII's encyclicals. Most notably of all, however, is the fact that Pope Leo XIII was the Pope alive during 1888, the time of the Sunday Blue Laws, when Sunday legislation was introduced to the U.S. During this period of time, Americans who did not wish to comply were fined, imprisoned, and made to work in chain gangs. Will the new Pope Leo be Pope when Sunday laws return to America and the world? Will we have to stand up for religious liberty once again? Grattan Guinness, author of several books about papal dominance in the time of the Dark Ages, once wrote this: 50 years ago, the eminent statesman Sir Robert Peel said, with remarkably clear foresight, "The day is not distant, and it may be very near, when we shall all have to fight the battle of the Reformation over again." That day has come. It has been upon us for some time. It has found us unprepared, and as a result, the battle is to some extent going against us. More than 3 centuries of emancipation from the yoke of Rome, 300 years of Bible light and liberty had made us overconfident and led us to underestimate the power and influence of the deadliest foe, not only of the gospel of God, but also of Protestant England. The Bible tells us that soon the United States of America will grasp hands with the Roman power and spiritualism. And under the influence of this threefold union, America will follow in the steps of Rome in trampling on the rights of conscience. Pope Leo XIII wrote in yet another encyclical entitled Libertas, "It is quite unlawful to demand, to defend, or to grant unconditional freedom of thought, of speech, or writing, or of worship. Is the new Leo's choice of name an indication that he intends to follow in the footsteps of Leo XIII? If so, should we expect the priorities and goals of Leo XIII to shape the reign of Leo XIV? For some, the emergence of an American pope, combined with the growing influence of Catholic ideals in American politics and society, raises prophetic concerns. Could this alignment be the precursor to the long-anticipated enforcement of a national Sunday law and the no-buy, no-sell restrictions foretold in Scripture? There is reason to believe such a scenario is increasingly plausible. According to Bible prophecy, the United States, the lamb-like beast representing republicanism and Protestantism, will ultimately form an image to the first beast by adopting the characteristics of papal Rome. This would result in coercive laws mirroring the abuses of the Dark Ages, including enforced worship and the imposition of the mark of the beast. Prudent Bible students will be watching the signs and studying the Word of God and trying to conform their lives to the Bible's precepts. It is time for people to be warned and for everyone, everywhere, to prepare for what's soon to break upon the world as an overwhelming surprise. The most solemn work ever given to any mortal has been given to Seventh-day Adventists, and that is to proclaim the warning of the three angels in Revelation 14, the last message of mercy to the world. This is precisely what we at Amazing Discoveries are trying to do. If you would like to know more about what is coming upon the world, sign up at finalcountdown.amazingdiscoveries.org and join our live Bible studies on final events. Thousands have already joined to watch, and you don't want to miss these important topics. Your future depends on this information. You can also go to our website and read our articles about these topics. And I encourage you to sign up for our newsletters. We won't spam you with constant useless emails. These newsletters will point you to resources and programs that will educate you and prepare you for what is coming. Thanks for watching.